All right, boys, we are back. In this one, I'm going to be talking about how we took this brand from 130K in the month of September to doing almost 1.3 million so far just in November. Today's actually Black Friday, so I'm going to make this video relatively quick. But here are the results, so you obviously know no funny business going on. And in this video, I'm going to be talking exactly about what they were struggling with when they were at like 130, 150K a month and struggling to scale. And I'm going to tell you exactly what we changed that took them literally 10x their business in just like a month and a half. I don't think anyone on YouTube can literally be as transparent as I'm going to be in this video because they just don't have these kind of results. And later in this video, I'm going to include little snippets from a call that I just had with the founder of this brand. And he's pretty much just so shocked with the results. He honestly couldn't believe that, some of the things that we implemented literally 10x'd his business.
I mean, dude,
That's
it literally we literally 10x'd it. It was crazy because we were talking about it and it was like I think we did like 130 or something in September and now we're gonna do a million. Like I said, I'm super impressed with just everything that you've done so far. Clearly, I mean, you just you came in and you gave a couple pieces of advice and 10x'd it. I mean, that's like really high level precision.
He was doing like 3 to 4K days on average, and yesterday he hit a 90K day. Like I said, today's Black Friday. We're aiming for 100, and it is 12:30 Eastern time right now. We're already at 41K today only, so 42K actually. The sales are just flowing in like crazy. So yeah, like I said, we're on track for 100, maybe even 120 today, because most of the sales on Black Friday actually come once people are, back home after work and so on. What's up, guys? So I knew I was going to post this video on Black Friday, and a ton of people probably would have been pretty curious as to, how the numbers actually played out on Black Friday for this brand specifically. So I'm just going to put this in right here and kind of go through the results. So on Friday, we actually did 125K. I think at this point in the video when I was recording it, on Friday, it was at like 42 to 45K, something like that. And actually over the weekend, we hit consistent 100K days every single day, which is just wild. On Saturday, you'll see we did 119, 30K in profit. And Sunday, we even did 100K day, I'm pretty sure as well. Yeah, 100K and 22K in profit. And then obviously on Cyber Monday as well. Cyber Monday was actually the slowest of all the days, and obviously still a 100K day, which is pretty crazy, considering that that's kind of more of a slow day, and 21K profit here. But honestly, at Cyber Monday, like I think most people have usually spent all their money, so there's not that many buyers. There's less demand, in my opinion, on Cyber Monday. So just wanted to kind of show this here over the weekend. From Friday through Monday, they did a total of 450K and actually 100K in profit, which is just crazy because, like I was talking about in this video before, this brand was like struggling to do like 100K in revenue previously. In the month of September, they did like 130K, and the fact that they did 100K, over 100K profit in just one weekend, is just absolutely nuts. So yeah, I'm going to let you get back into the video here, but I just wanted to include this. So for a little more context, I jumped on 2 paid mentorship calls with this founder. And by the way, I do not really provide this as a service to everyone. He just messaged me, we got in contact. I knew that he had a really high level brand, so I thought I could provide some value. We jumped on a call on October 10th and October 16th. I'll pop those up on screen right now. And you'll see that their revenue just exponentially started to go up after those days. They were struggling to do like 3, 4, 5K days. And after these 2 mentorship calls, they were consistently hitting like 10 and even 20K days, I think. Yeah, 20K day by the end of the month pretty well. And then obviously in the month of November, everything just absolutely took off. They were executing everything that I mentioned to them. And yeah, the founder is just obviously super smart. I won't take all credit for this. They were kind of just missing like a few pieces to the puzzle. And I think, some of the things that I mentioned to them really helped them out. And now they're at a point where they're doing like 40 to 60K days. And then yeah, 90K day yesterday, and on track to probably do 120K. already since just starting to record this video. I think they've done like an extra 2K. So yeah, honestly, this brand is absolutely exploding right now, but I won't harp on this any longer. I'm going to get into exactly what we changed and what they were struggling with, and what took them to the next level. Here is what they were actually struggling with. So one of the main things that they were struggling with is that they were only really running like bottom of funnel offer focused ads. So what I mean by this is just like a short, like 10-second ad or so, where it's pretty much just showcasing like the product and saying like today only this price with like music over it and that kind of thing. And like that was pretty much 90% of their ads were really like these offer focused ads, because that's what they saw success with previously. And, they were just trying to iterate, and they were going in this cycle of like iterating on these exact same style of ads over and over. And they were pretty much just seeing like diminishing returns. So like in the month of September, I think they were down 20% in revenue. And it was kind of just like their brand was pretty much just dying a slow death at this point, because they weren't coming up with new angles and new ads to launch. Again, 90% of their ads were just like iterations on their previous winner. And that was really holding them back from like finding new audiences and scaling. They also didn't really have a process to like generate new angles. So again, all they were doing was like running these like offer focused ads, and any of the new angles that they would launch, they'd just find a competitor and like pretty much just rip their exact style. But that just honestly wasn't working that well. And again, they weren't launching enough ads to really know what was working well and what wasn't. When I just started talking to them, I think they were launching like maybe 2 to 3 new ads a week. Again, all of those were pretty much iterations on their previous winner, so they weren't really branching out and finding new audiences and so on. They were also really struggling to identify when ads had potential and when they should have cut them, because they were cutting new ads after like $30 to $50 in spend, which for a brand doing like 100K a month, that's literally nothing. Those ads would probably be shown to like 0.1% of their total audience. Another thing that they were struggling to do was actually just iterate on creatives that might have had potential, because, when I jumped in their ad account, I saw a lot of ads that might have just had low conversion rate or low CTRs. And these are like metrics that if you see an ad has a low click-through rate, you're probably just going to know that you have to switch up the call to action. You might have to sell a little bit harder, and see that click-through rate go up. And that's also one of the things that actually took their conversion rate from like 1.64 to now like 2.38. They were really just lacking like good call to actions. And that was like one of the biggest changes that we made, was that they just had to sell a little bit harder, because I see a lot of people online, they're talking about, try to make your ads look organic and make it, not look like an ad. The best ads don't look like ads. I think that that's like BS, to be honest. And this is coming from someone that's like overseen millions of dollars in ad spend on a monthly basis. If you want your ad to convert well, you need to sell in your ad. And that doesn't mean sell right off the bat. And that doesn't mean necessarily just running like 10-second offer focused ads. That means, running a top of funnel ad. But once you get to like 30, 40 seconds into the video, if someone's still watching at that point, they're obviously showing some level of interest. So why would you not put your product in front of them and sell them hard on it? Incentivize them to click through and buy your product. So that was honestly one of the biggest things that we changed, was actually just including like strong call to actions, and pretty much just like showcasing how the creator was just blown away with like the sale that they were running, and like saying, this sale, like I can't believe this is going on. This is like a ridiculous sale. I don't know what they were thinking. Things like that are obviously going to help improve your click-through rate and overall conversion rate. Like people that, go through that sort of call to action in your video, if they click through still at that point, they're going to be coming to your lander with a lot more buying intent. These call to actions were drawn out a lot longer than what you might think. They were sometimes 10, 15, 20 seconds long, pretty much just talking about how crazy the sale is that they were offering at that point. And finally, they were also struggling with just like a poor campaign structure overall. They couldn't identify winning ads in the first place, but a lot of their ads weren't even winners at that point, because again, they were only doing these like offer focused ads. So like I said before, we had these calls on October 10th and October 16th, and that is when this brand absolutely just started to take off. So again, they were doing like 3 to 6K days on a high day before this. And then on the 10th, they just started to actually scale. After the 16th, they were hitting consistent 10K days in revenue. And then again, it's just been absolutely exponential since then. Now they're averaging like 40 to 50K days just from a few of these little tweaks. So one of the main ones is actually just like 10xing their creative production. And that was really the main thing that I was telling them, is that they just weren't launching enough ads. The founder was super optimistic. He was like wanting to get to 250, 500K, a mil a month. Like he had these big goals, but he wasn't changing, their process in terms of their creatives. So you can't really dream big like that unless you're changing your inputs, specifically in your creative production, because your creatives is really just the most important piece of the puzzle when it comes to scaling from like 130K to 1.2 mil. If you're going to try and scale to those numbers, it's not going to be your media buying strategy or your campaign structure. It's just going to be the sheer number of creatives that you're pumping out every single day. So like I said before, they were doing like 2 to 3 ads a week, and they're at a point right now where we're doing like 20 ads a day. And that's probably like hard for a lot of people to even like wrap their minds around, doing 20 ads a day, because for a lot of you guys watching this video, that might take you an entire month just to put out that amount of ads. But we really had to get to a point where we systemized this production process properly. And that takes me into point 3 here, is that we really systemized this in a way that we were doing what I like to call modular creatives. And what I mean by this is pretty much just getting a ton of content shot and then like pre-cutting it up and throwing it all in a folder. So you have all your hooks in a folder, all your problems in a folder, all your bodies or main parts of the videos in a folder, all the call to actions in a folder. And they're all pre-cut to, 7 to 10 seconds, so that you could just have a video editor and a creative strategist go in and pretty much just move these puzzle pieces around. And, if the hook is underperforming, throw in a new hook. If your hold rate sucks, throw in a new body. That's how you have to properly iterate on creatives to actually maximize, what you're doing and get to this kind of number, because a lot of this comes down to actually iterating. You're not going to produce like super crazy ads first time around. And if you do, it might be lucky. Take what you can learn from that and produce more just like it. But a lot of the times, winning ads come after 1 or 2 or 3 iterations to either the hook or the call to action. And that's what I was really trying to get across to him, is that a lot of his ads had potential, but they just needed a few tweaks here or there. And it was just a few iterations away from turning an ad that was like struggling to spend $250 a day to take that ad to spend $2,500 a day.
I mean, that's what's so fucking crazy too, dude. Like, you told us to like put these new creatives in there, change the hook, do the call to action, and we're talking like it was fucking immediate. Like it immediately exploded.
One of the other things we actually focused on was really pushing one main offer. And this was like a bundle deal. So it was like select multiple pieces for X price for their industry specifically. And I think for a lot of industries as well, that is a great offer where you could just pretty much build a box. Again, this is like a lot more high level than, basic Shopify dropshipping, because obviously these landers took like a little bit more effort to produce, and they were custom coded, and they needed like a developer to actually do this as well. But before we had these mentorship calls, they were trying to, launch different offers, because that's what they thought was their main problem. They thought that their offer was just kind of dying out, when in fact their creatives were just like really lackluster at that point. And in terms of their creatives, again, they were only running like bottom of funnel offer focused ads, which were really catered around getting people to click through and buy right then and there. But they haven't been hit with multiple touch points from this brand. They don't really know what this brand is at that point, because that might have been their customer's first touch point, was just pretty much trying to get them to go ahead and buy right then and there. So one of the big things we had to implement here was actually launching some top of funnel ads and focusing on new angles, because again, they were really just like tunnel vision on this bottom of funnel ad that had previously done like relatively okay for them. And they were just trying to iterate on that over and over. But when we came in, we gave them a ton of new ideas in terms of angles and structures and frameworks that they could have run. One of the big ones was gifting, because obviously with Q4, gifting is a huge angle. And gifting is also an angle that you could run in so many different ways as well, whether it be gifting to your dad, gifting to your mom, gifting to your girlfriend, husband, wife. It's such an open-ended angle that you're able to kind of launch that in so many different ways, depending on your industry and your product. Obviously, one approach might work better than the other. But gifting quickly became one of their top performing angles. And this is what really allowed them to start spending like 10, 20, and even recently like 50K a day. And finally, like I mentioned before, one of the big things that I wanted them to implement was hard selling call to actions. And again, I think it's so crazy how so many people are trying to tell you to make like organic drop shipping kind of videos. But these are the same people that are doing like, 10, 20K a month. If you want to hit these big numbers, you have to sell your audience hard. You have to tell them exactly what you want them to do at the end of the video. Because if they get to the 30, 40-second mark in your video, they're interested. Why would you allow your customer to get to that point in your video and then, just give them a quick 3-second call to action that you're doing a 50% off sale, click here? Your call to actions could be so much more elaborate than that. And that's really what they were missing out on before as well. So yeah, super quick. That is pretty much what we changed and what they were struggling with, at this 130K a month point to get them to 1.2 mil. And that's not even taking into account that Black Friday and the weekend is literally today. So this revenue by the end of the month might actually be closer to like 1.5 mil, which is honestly just crazy because that's over 10x growth in like a month in their business just from 2 mentorship calls. So if you feel like you're at a point in time where creative production is what you're struggling with, then click the link down below and book in a call. We're super, super selective of who we work with. We probably won't even take the call unless you're doing like 100K a month. But again, if you think that creative production and this sort of thing is really what's holding you back, then book in a call, we'll chat, see what makes sense, and obviously go from there. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and let me know in the comments, what you want me to break down further. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.